Hello there. So today I want to talk about my first chemo, Adriamizyn, the red chemo, Red Devil, so many names. It's the usually the first chemo is given to any lymphoma patient. It's it's called it's called Red Devil because the bag is red and the chemo itself is red. So I started taking that chemo. That was the first time. I already talked about that. I was very sick when I started, so it kind of feel great the first time. I could 3 days after that I could finally sleep. That was a real great thing. So after, I remember I took it for 6 months, twice, every 14 days. I took a dose, and I remember it lasted 3 days. The worst of the effects. I remember it was. I feel warm, my whole body, nausea, throwing up and stuff like that. Being unable to eat. The taste is awful, and your hair is gone. In most cases, it didn't work. It didn't affect me. The only thing I can think about why it didn't happen is because I was so sick, and the chemo just helped my body. It didn't damage those cells. It just damaged the bad ones. So basically, I took that for 6 months. I remember the first time I entered remission was at 3 months, taking that chemo. They did a PET scan, and they found that I was in remission. I still have my lymph nodes and everything, but I were in remission. So I kept taking it for 3 more months. I remember on the 5th month, I couldn't. When I got to the clinic, I already was nauseous. I already had the taste in my mouth. I was already throwing up, just waiting for the chemo, just waiting for it. I couldn't even. It was awful. But now that I look back and I know the other chemos is not as bad as I thought. It was hardly 1 or 2 bad days, the most, and it will. The worst day will be the first one. You will feel so much pressure in the head and the forehead, a lot of nausea, a lot of bad taste. Your mood, it's uncomfortable, but it should be. You've been poisoned, and that was the first time I was dealing with it. Sorry, I was starting in this whole cancer thing, so basically I took the meds, and I remember by the second day I was still I wasn't as half as mature that I feel right now, and by the second day I was smoking weed and drinking. I didn't care. I was already dying. So by starting the first chemo, around 4 doctors told me I wouldn't make a year out of it, even with chemo. So there was no hope, nothing will move me to give them 100%. I was just there getting the chemo, and let's see what happened. So by the 4th month, that chemo, when I was finishing in the 6th month, My doctor did another PET scan and they found that I was sick again. So it didn't work and they couldn't give me more. I took the whole cycle and I cannot take that medication unless it's like really necessary, because every chemo has a toxicity in your body. That one affects the heart a lot. So now from there I was using other chemos that affect something else, not the heart. That's as simple as I can put it. So yeah, that was my experience with that first chemotherapy. It was the reg one. And well, thank you for listening and be there. Thank you. I need to. That was in 2007, and I started on September 2007, and I end 6 months, September, October, November. By February, yeah, by February I finished that one. I was sick, and we were like, my doctor was started to rethink and look for another chemo, and I will talk about that next time. Thank you.